Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be showing you the last leg of my trip to Bacolod. This is on the way down through the mountains, and when I reach the coast, which you won't see, there's still another good hour before you get to Bacolod, at least to the point where I was going. So enjoy it. Much better than looking at my face. Today, I'm going to relate to a story of a gentleman. We'll just call him John, and I will not disclose what country he's from. He's a foreigner who spent a lot of time here in the Philippines, and his situation was not good. He asked me to share this story with you, and I will, without a lot of comment. You'll just understand, you expats who intend on coming here possibly to live, move, retire. It'll remind you of how things can go, how things can happen, and not necessarily to the benefit. So bear with this, and please don't be hard on this gentleman. Just try to learn from it, and we'll proceed. So John, we'll call him John, had visited the Philippines several times in the last 15 years. And at one point in very recent years, before the COVID, he met this lady with whom he spent a lot of time. That lady took in a child, a relative. I forget if it was a little niece or a little nephew, but he was pretty much, the child was pretty much imposed upon him for his support, as well as the woman. And down the road, she became pregnant and had a child, a little girl, and there was reason for him to go back to his country at that point. In contact with this lady, of course, he continued to support her in various ways, liberally, and when he finally was able to get back after COVID, he realized that she had gotten married to a Filipino, and all that money was not accounted for, and she became hostile and would not even let him see his own little girl. So that would be heartbreak in itself. So eventually he realized he just had to move on, which he did. And I'm not sure if it was this lady or the next lady, which he contacted through Christian Filipina. That's a dating site. And I will comment on that site. I had been on it years ago, and it's very expensive. Some people have benefited from it. I found no difference between those girls on that site than anybody else, any other woman on any other site. So take that with a grain of salt, or however you want to take it. But he met this other lady, befriended her, and they actually started some businesses together. I don't know how many, but let me read off some businesses here that during the COVID period he had sent her money for. Again, the ones that he got involved with her in when he was there, I'm not sure of, but I'll read off the list. There was a farm involved, a producing farm. There was a restaurant. There was 2 call centers. There was a grab car business, including the car. There was a house. And of course, he had a Jeep and a car and e-bike and a bunch of other stuff. So he had reason to go back just before COVID, and of course he couldn't leave his country for approximately a couple of years. I know that was my case. I hadn't left, but I hadn't gotten here either, and I couldn't in that 2-year time frame. But in the meantime, this woman was trying these businesses, and it seemed that one was failing after another, and he'd continue to send her money for these other businesses. And when he did get back to the Philippines, he was surprised that none of these businesses existed. Whether they had actually the woman had actually carried out the business, or apparently there was some attempt. He had some proof of attempts. At any rate, there was nothing. They couldn't account for all the money that he sent, and she had hooked up with or perhaps she always was hooked up with this Filipino boyfriend. So between the two of them, his money vanished. Now, it's not a pleasant experience. He tried to reach some kind of a settlement with the barangay, and because that's where you have to start here. You don't go directly to the police. You go to the barangay, and the captain helps to the extent that he's able to, and because that's his responsibility. But there wasn't a lot of help there as far as any retribution of sorts. And the woman disappeared. So there was no way for the barangay to track her. This gentleman hired an attorney. And the attorney was pretty much useless, except that he always had an invoice for John. So that didn't work either. So after COVID, spending a little time here, not being able to accomplish much as it relates to the money he spent, he went home. He was running out of money. And so it is that to this day, he has been dependent upon government aid, which does not suffice for a meager existence, actually. So this gentleman, John, is in a bad way. And I would just like to point out that these things can happen to anyone very quickly. If you have a soft heart, it's very easy to try to help these people. It's very easy to be swayed. They can be very manipulative in their humble way, and you can be taken to the cleaners if you're not careful. Now, I can sympathize with John because I was in a similar situation, except that I had built a house. There was no money issues. The Filipino was very honest with me. But there was another issue that I could see that could not be resolved, and it was a behavioral thing. So I walked away. Now, had I spent a lot more time with this Filipino prior to, I would have detected the issue. But we're in a rush. You know, we're older. We're in a rush for a relationship, and you guys just have to be careful and understand what can happen to you very quickly here in the Philippines. So with that, I hope this is a help for anyone that anticipates coming here. Hang on to your money and get to know the Filipino really, really well before you expend yourself. This gentleman lost in the neighborhood of 7.25 million pesos. So may it